everyone, I'm Nick. Welcome to my channel. This is my first time kind of posting here on YouTube. This is kind of my small setup, so you know, this probably won't get seen by many people, but if it does, if it runs across your page, you like retro consoles, you like hardware, you like games, really honestly, I just want to provide a place for like anybody who loves anything to come. As you can see here, like, you know, I've got a couple helmets, so I definitely love collecting. You know, I've got a couple, I got an N64 here, I got my Wii, probably can't see from the frame, I've got an X-Men still in box, got Star Wars still in box, but anyways, I want to give a place for everybody that just loves to be a nerd, can come and hang out and kind of have a community together. So if this runs across your page, you love being a nerd, you love consoles, you love games, you just want something to just, you know, come and watch for whatever reason, just because you're a nerd, right?
Blah, 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 blah.
In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at what Gamestop has to offer with their retro consoles. This was actually kind of a nightmare to get here. I'll get into that in a little bit, but this right here is actually a fat PS2. Now, when I called, they said it was the black model, so that's what I ordered. I'm going to be unboxing this. Then I'm going to be moving over to my light box. We're going to take a look at it under the light because the lighting in here isn't great, so I'm going to be able to basically see the kind of scratches and stuff we have there. And yeah, so let's start there. I have a copy of Thrillville next to me, which is super sick. But yeah, let's begin. So I have this kitchen knife because, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully this is in good condition. I mean, I got it for $79.99. eBay's prices right now on the PS2, for whatever reason, are a little crazy. I just got a PS3 actually for about $60, thanks to an awesome seller on eBay. And you know what? It works wonderfully. So let's see. As we open it up here, I'm sure you probably can't see, it's actually not packaged bad. It's got paper in it. It looks like there's another box. So that's a good sign, that there's at least better packaging than usual. So we've got our little paper. We're going to actually chuck that to the side. And just our packing slip. Alright, so inside here we have a Gamestop pre-owned box. We're gonna chuck that away. Alright, so here we are, Gamestop pre-owned. Here, it's gonna come around here. Gamestop pre-owned, never stop playing. Says it right there up top. So let's take a look. So like I said, this is the PS2 system. They market it as large. We all know it's the fat. It says that it's complete, so it must come with a controller. I've got a couple accessories, so we are going to test it out. This is obviously not the system. This is just a screensaver. So we're going to pop this thing open here. Let's see. Oh, get a bear paw through it. Well, maybe not that one. I've got carpal tunnel. Sweet Jesus. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, so it looks like right here we've actually got some more paper on top. Now this is a lot better thus far from what I've seen, because usually I've seen people get these consoles in the regular shipping box with literally maybe a piece of paper, if that. So the big reveals now. I hope there's nothing broken. It doesn't sound like anything's like rattling around like a piece. So we're gonna have to take a look. Let's see what we got. Alright, just a nice folded paper. Okay, actually, pretty decent packaging. Now, the store that this came from, funny enough, they permanently closed, so GameStop sales must be down 20%. I'm going to link an article in the description, so you can maybe check out kind of like the info on that. I'm not necessarily so sure what's going on with GameStop, but for your sales to be down 20% after the holiday season, that kind of sucks. So, looks like they're closing a bunch of their stores. So here we go, right here, actually in pretty nice condition for a GameStop controller. This right here is your DualShock 2 with your like little magic gate connector here. Goes right into your memory card slot, or you know, your controller slot or whatever. It wasn't a PS2 kid, I wish I was. I sort of was. Alright, so here is our paper right here, and right underneath, in actually pretty good condition, is the one and only Sony Playstation 2. So here that is right here. And just taking a look at it, there's definitely some dust, maybe a little mark here. We're gonna take a look at it underneath the light. But other than that, this is a pretty good looking console. And for what I was expecting, definitely not bad by any means. So let's toss this. Let's get this knife out of the way. Let's start by doing that. Let's pop this right here in front of the copy of Thrillville. We're gonna take this knife, put it down. We've got our AC adapter here. So this is just your standard. This is actually not even standard anymore. This was the one where it had the one prong that was circle. The other one that was like, I don't know, square or whatever. It's kind of squared off. Pop that here. AV cables here. Actually, these aren't even going to be utilized. I don't have a CRT monitor, CRT TV anymore. So I actually do have a PS2 to HDMI converter. So we're going to be using that instead. All right, and I think that should be everything. So with that, we can actually toss this box over there. And in a moment, I'm going to go ahead and...
One eternity later.
All right, so after a very long wait, took forever to find, I found the light box. This is actually my first time using it. Definitely would love to start posting some like any type of collectible content using it, but we have the console itself up here in the light box. Everything actually looks pretty good. Now, we look down this way here, up top, we have the logo. Everything looks etched very nicely. You know, that nice ombre that fades from that aqua blue into that purple, which really, really, really defined this generation. We're gonna flip it now on its front side here. It's not really the best zoom. Hold on, let me zoom out just a tad. Alright, so look, as you can see here, that PlayStation logo is pretty pristine, and obviously most of you know the awesomeness of being able to do that. That looks great. Now, when I did mention in the one video, I believe, because I did end up recording another thing that I couldn't find my light box, so I was going to make a review, but that's getting canned, found my light box, everything is good to go. In here, what we do have is a scuff right up there, right on top of the reset power button. If you can see that, hopefully it'll focus on it. Alright, maybe just turn on the light just a tad bit for a moment. Okay. So you can see there's like that scuff there. That's nothing too bothersome. I mean, this console cost me $79. Actually got a gift card too. So, you know, very good in that respect. We're going to flip it over on its side in a moment, but I'd like to show you the other side of this before I do that. So I'm going to take this out, flip it around, put it back in. Okay, so see here, we've got our two USB type A's. We've got like almost like a mini USB. I don't really necessarily know everything there is to know about the PS2. Like I said, I was really little when this was out. I was born in 2003. So, you know, my age group is slightly different than most people. Now, I am noticing something here that I am a little concerned about. Now, I could be totally wrong. Like I said, my experience with the PS2 is a lot different than something like the PS3 or the PS4 era. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, yeah, you make me feel old. Trust me, I'm just, I don't pay attention to detail very much when it comes to things when I'm not actually reviewing them. But looking in here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I don't know if that is supposed to be flush against the system or it's supposed to sit almost angular. You can kind of see, if I turn it this way maybe, it's very hard to capture because it's just, you know, it's a two-dimensional camera. The button functions perfectly, so this could just be the design. I'm going to go along with the lines that it is. If for some reason it's not and it functions fine, I do not care. It does not bother me. Let's turn this over one more time so we can go back to this. So we've got here our memory card slots. Both of them function perfectly fine. Controller ports function perfectly fine. So everything looks good there. We go down here, our actual ventilation. Honestly, not too bad. I'm sure I could get something to clean it. I could, you know, blow it out, whatever. I don't know if you use air duster on something like this. I'm sure you probably could. But in that respect, honestly, it looks really, really good. And here's the thing. I've been seeing these reviews lately of people getting GameStop consoles that look awful. Creases are breaking off. I believe it was Jacob R. who either ordered a PS, I think it was a PS3, and it gets to his house or to his studio, and he opens up the box and you hear some rattling. You open up the bubble wrap, and there goes a piece on the table. And I believe that was either Gamestop or DK Oldies. Either way, same trade in terms of, you know, quality of retro consoles. DK Oldies, unfortunately, their pricing is high, and I can't believe that they got away with what they got away with. See, there's a little scuff here. It could just be dirt. I haven't had a chance to really clean this, and the reason why I haven't done that is because I wanted to put it in the light box and show how GameStop would ship a console that was, you know, sitting in their inventory or wherever they ended up getting this PS2. Now, because I remember when I was younger, they stopped taking these. They would not trade in PlayStation 2 or the GameCube because my dad and I actually brought it to GameStop to trade in when I was younger, and they did not take either of them. So we're going to flip it now on its side here. Here's our fan. Honestly, like I said, I mean, you would expect it to be like one large dust bunny, and it's really not that bad. It's really not bad. Let me push this into the center here. Okay, so we can look in there. We can sort of see, okay, around the outside ridge here on the backside, there's definitely a little bit of dust. You know, just some air should be able to flow that right out of there. Our ports, everything's good. No bent. Doesn't anything. Nothing really looks bent. The AV port looks okay. Sorry, I don't know why that's not focusing very well. Probably because of the light. Main power switch functions fine. Everything on this console functions great. We're gonna have some, you know, like the actual setup process of the PlayStation 2. It's very, very simple. And then obviously our AC, which has that strange little plug that I always find, and it's never the right one for either my PS5 or PS4 or Xbox. That's that. Take a look at the other side. I'm going to turn this around. Okay. So now we have our expansion bay here. I'm going to flip this open. Oh, probably not a good idea. With that. Oh. Okay. Maybe not. Like I said, I'm too inexperienced with this console. Oh man. Any of you guys see this, you're going to flame me hard. Okay, but the best part about this here is that I know it's kind of obsolete at this point, but it's going to be the fact that all of the console information, the model number, everything is in great condition. It's not peeling, it's not scratched off, it's pretty good, and honestly, that's exciting, because a lot of times when you buy consoles like these, they're a little messy. Things are peeling off, and I know it's GameStop, but GameStop just lost 20% in sales. They're closing down stores. They're really in a financial crisis, and it's unfortunate because their business model is very simple. Store, game, customer. It's that easy, and it doesn't need to be this hard. But things like this should be the forefront of the company, really, and this is the quality control we should get. I mean, you can see from the light as it shines off the sides. Yes, there is dust in the ridges of this console. Yes, there is some dust. It's a little bit messy in some areas. Guess what? A wipe. That'll save you. You go on eBay, and finding a PS2 right now is a little hard in terms of you don't know what you're going to get, because a lot of these are Japanese. This is American, $79.99. Taking a look at the backside here, we have on the bottom, oh, can't see that. Let's flip it around again. Basically pristine. I mean, the feet look good. These are, you know, they're there. Feet are good. Everything looks good. The paint or whatever, or the plastic, nothing's like chipping off. Nothing's peeling off. We're gonna flip it around. Okay. So just got our caution thing here. Everything just looks very, very nice for a console that is now, I don't even know, like 20 something years old. Like, we're in 2025. Okay, now we're talking like 25 years old. I mean, you know. So the PlayStation 2 looks great. And this console really set the standard for the gaming industry. After the downfall of Sega from the PS1, the PS2 came in and continued to dominate. I mean, they put Nintendo on notice. They destroyed the GameCube in sales. They basically were the reason why that Xbox stepped into the game. Then that's another conversation I will be having in a future video, probably right after this one, because it's something that I really need to talk about. So that's a look at this in the light box. Everything here looks pretty solid, and I'm satisfied with it. I mean, $79.99, yeah, it's steep for a PS2, I guess, when you think about it. But with the resurgence of retro gaming, it's really not bad. It's really not bad. And the price of a game now is basically the price of an older system. I would rather get an older system, because having older systems is the preservation of the time that I always look back on. You see, nostalgia is a huge part of me. Feeling like I want to go back to the days of simplicity, like the era of the PS2 or the PS3, really, really like sparks that fire to try and get there, and you'll never, ever, ever get it back. But you can always try and look towards the future while reflecting on the past. And I would rather do that with an older system than buying a new game, because $70 for a video game, especially Call of Duty, if you're not using Game Pass, is criminal. So that's a look at that. We're now going to move on over to the actual plug-in and setup process. And the connector that I have looks like this. So this is a PS2 to HDMI connector. It's got HDMI on the back. It's got this little dongle here, and it looks like a mini USB. Now, I did have some trouble using this because I did already set it up. I wanted to test it, make sure it worked. The console does work. It's in good condition. Pretty much flawless. I mean, other than that scuff up top, it really is a flawless console. So, oh, dog's barking. How about that? All right, so I found out that my television does have AV. I was shocked. I looked behind the TV just to make sure that like I wasn't missing something, to see why the HDMI conversion wasn't working. It could be human error. Like I said, I don't know what those other dongles are necessary for. It did come with a mini USB. Maybe that needs to be plugged in at the same time. If that's the case, that's fine. I don't even need it, so it's probably gonna get returned. I recommend it if that is the case. This is going to get plugged in to a power cord, which it came with. So I'm going to plug that in, and then I will be right back, because I'll take up the entire frame. I'll be larger than charge. It'll be terrible. All right, so everything's all set up now. I know it's a little jank. This whole room is pretty much jank. I've got my Wii U sandwiched, sort of, leaning tower of Wii U's in between the PS5 and the PS2. So everything's all set up. Everything's plugged in. Obviously, PlayStation logo has been switched, because if you do it any other way, it's cursed. At this point in time, if you have a Roku TV and you are using AV, what you need to do is go into the settings of Roku television. So there's going to be a settings tab. Okay, I will show you how to do that probably at the end of the video. I'll add a portion on that. So if you'd like to, you can skip to the end. I'll show you how to do that too. There's going to be a option in settings where you go to inputs. I could not find AV for the life of me. In the settings option for inputs, however, AV was there. And essentially, what that made me able to do was to delete it and then reconfigure it, so that way it popped up on my home screen and in my inputs. I've never used AV on the TV. Like I said, didn't even know it was there. So there's that. So we are now going to plug in the DualShock 2, insert our memory card, and then turn this baby on. You know it's going to be the best time of the day. To insert your DualShock 2, just take this little, and I said insert. To insert your DualShock 2, there's these little pieces down here, those connectors. Just push this right in. Boink! There you go. DualShock 2 connected, activated. Autobots roll out. You're not going to take your memory card. It's like your standard memory card from Amazon. Your little magic gate here. This is where your memory cards go. Plug this baby in. Okay, all good to go. Have a copy of Thrillville. We're going to now throw that on, and we are going to have the best intro in gaming history played. I do not care. It's better than the PS1. It's better than the orchestra of the PS3. The PS4, you know, it's got a nice little intro when you get signed in and everything. Better than that. It's better than the PS5. As amazing as the original intro for the PS5 is,
the one that you only get when you first time you boot it up. So we're gonna take our disc here, just a regular old, you know, little compact disc. Just a disc. I prefer disc gaming. Disc gaming is amazing. Turn this light on one more time. Here's that eject button. You're gonna click that. It's gonna open up your tray and power on your system. And there it is. The most beautiful intro in all of gaming history. You also have, without a disc, you have your browser, and then this right here is your system configuration. So, we're actually going to replay that, because you need to see that for a second time. And you know what noise you need to hear. You need to hear that as the PlayStation 2 text appears across the screen. So, we have our game here. You're going to pop it right in the tray, just like so. Put it in there, close it back up. You could, I think you might be able to push it. No, don't do that. Hit this button. Play it safe. And then what you're actually going to do is we are going to reset it. We're going to click this button here. But let me get the room set up perfectly. So when I do that, get me. This controller is ingrained in every fiber of PlayStation going forward. The DualShock 2. The DualShock 3 is a continuation and a replica of what made the DualShock 2 so great. And this is why it is so important that we recognize history and that we come back and realize that all of these things, these consoles that people threw away and that others question, why would somebody buy an old console? Because of things like this. Because it tells a story for future generations, for younger kids. So, you know, if I get the blessing of having children someday, I get to show them these things and tell them the consoles that they have, this is where they came from. This is why things are the way they are, and this is what built an industry that allowed us to go from games like Thrillville to then Fortnite to now, you know, infinity and beyond with things like VR. Gaming wouldn't exist if it wasn't for things like the PlayStation. And I know people are going to say that I'm glazing this company, that I'm glazing Sony, but there's something special about Sony, and there's something special about PlayStation that you just can't replicate anywhere else. Microsoft can't do it. They tried, you know, they did it with the original Xbox. That's got its own charm. The 360 absolutely is an amazing console, and if you don't have one in 2024, including myself, you should go out and buy one. Go out and buy one. It's worth every single dime. This console and this system, its legacy, it's still available. Like, you can play it. It's playable. It's got amazing titles. Go get one. Go get one. It's a part of history. And I could not be more thankful that Gamestop actually really took care of this order and shipped it with care. So we're not going to phase back into my original setup, get that all figured out, and I'm going to close this out. Alright guys, so to close up this video, just going to kind of do a voiceover here. My room's a complete disaster. It's actually been a little bit since I recorded. So basically what I want to close out with is kind of a small message to anybody out there who's looking at retro consoles as some type of niche or novelty. They're definitely not. Retro consoles are something that definitely should be prioritized more in the community of gaming, and it's actually sad to see that a lot of the retro stores in my area, including some GameStops that aren't retro, but GameStop still sell physical media, they're shutting down, and I think it's a reflection of just like bad timing, because I do notice that in a lot of the sphere that I involve myself in terms of, like, you know, the YouTube channels I watch or the activities I participate in, I'm very physical media driven, and what that allows me to do is collect things and also preserve them. So, you know, preservation of media is obviously a topic right now that is super, super important, and I just want to close out this video with the knowledge of how important the preservation of
modern day physical media is. Now, I do understand and recognize that modern day physical media, like your next Xbox game, which is few and far between, Xbox is a disaster, or even your PlayStation game, they're nothing more than a license key and a little bit of an easier way to get it on your console. There's still installations required, there's still internet required at points. Like games like Concord, once it shuts down, it shuts down. That's it. Your disc is not usable. So kind of what I want to end this video with here is, if you were interested in buying a PS2 or a PS3, even if you want to go for some of the other models like the PS2 Slim, the PS3 Slim, or the Super Slim, I do have a fat PS3 that I intend on making a video similarly to this on. That one is not from Gamestop, that is actually from eBay, from an excellent seller. But basically with that, I would say go ahead and do it. I got a PS3 for $60. GameStop obviously upcharges. eBay is actually kind of similar with the fat PS2. I got it for 80 bucks. Like I said in the video, it looks great. It's a good console. It works wonderfully. I've had no problems yet. I've been playing it. Everything is great. So for those of you out there who are interested in retro consoles, looking to get into something like that, it's relatively inexpensive. You know, it's formatted correctly. There's a lot more tools nowadays to help us out through things like Amazon. You know, with that HDMI conversion, if you don't have AV ports on your television. So yeah, just want to close out with that basically there. If you guys really like this video, if you see this video, you come across it, and yeah, maybe you want to see something in the future, definitely put it down there in the comments for me. I will definitely take a look. Even if that involves me buying something, I'll get it done. I'm just here because I love talking about this stuff. I talk to myself about this stuff. So it's nice to be able to have a place where maybe I can, you know, talk to some of you guys. So if you do see this video, you do come across it, you like it, make sure to sub, make sure to like. Definitely put something down in the comments below. Maybe if you want to see me improve in an area. Definitely going to be working on my setup as a whole. Right now it's a little chaotic. So thank you guys so much. You have a great rest of your day. And again, we are well into now 2025. You know, just a couple weeks. So you guys have nothing but the greatest new year. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.